My name is David Vigil. I'm currently incarcerated in Santa Rita Jail. I've been incarcerated for over 6 years now.
Talk to us about what's going on. So there's been a hunger strike that's been going on for a while now. Why are people on hunger strike there?
Well, we started on the 8th of January, and we're protesting the poor quality of food that they give us here, and also the high prices of the commissary. So the food that they give us here is really disgusting. Most people don't even eat it at all. And so we supplement, not eating that with commissary, because the prices are so high, and they were just raised recently. So, like, for instance, a single top ramen soup costs about 25 cents less in any store or any market, any grocery, but they charge us $1.13 for a single soup, and they just recently raised it to $1.32. That's over a 15% increase, and compared to prices on the outs, that's about like 500% price markup, and they've raised the prices on everything. They're also not taking our hunger strike seriously. At first, they weren't documenting it until we demanded them to. I think recently, Lieutenant Kelly is the spokesperson of this facility. He denied that there was even a hunger strike, even though there's documentation. And he also said that they only increased the prices of items on commissary by 5%. And that's completely untrue when there's not one item on there that has been raised only 5%. At the minimum, it's 50%, and some have been increased to about 65%.
Yeah, you mentioned, for instance, the top ramens. I mean, on the outside, you could go to any store and get 4 or 5 top ramens for, $1.
Right.
Sometimes even more. So the fact that you're paying another 32 cents, for some people that may not seem like a lot, but can you explain just the impact on prisoners, just that increase?
Oh, it's not an extra 32 cents. They're charging $1.32 for a single soup. So it's about a 500% price markup. And, really it's our families that are suffering. First of all, the situation is already stressful enough. Lawyer fees are very high. And then we need help, buying commissary items just so we could be fed and be comfortable, because the food they give us here is so disgusting. And also the deputies here, they eat for free cafeteria. I passed by one time, there was this female deputy walking with a large plate of food, and the deputy that was escorting us asked her, what's on the menu today? And she said, tamales, and she had a bunch of fruit and all kind of other things on her tray. And he was like, tamales again? So they're eating good, but they're feeding this food that would, you couldn't give it to homeless people to eat. I think if you were to feed people in a homeless shelter this type of food, I think they would be accused of cruelty. Most of the food goes to waste, so that's taxpayer money that's going to waste.
Yeah, from our understanding, there's supposedly rules that say that they have to provide at least a certain amount of caloric intake to people that are there. But tell us more about the food. I mean, just how bad it is. Any horror stories you want to share?
People have found rat feces in the food. Some of the food looks like slop and is unrecognizable as food. It looks like dog food often. They have this lunch meat that I've only taken one bite of it when I first arrived here, and I've never touched it since, and most people don't eat it unless they're really starving. It doesn't look like any lunch meat I've ever seen on the outs. It smells so bad that I wouldn't even eat the bread that it touches. And like a lot of the hot trays that we get, just like I said, slop, and the vegetables that we get are always soggy. And even for those that can't afford commissary and only eat the food given here, they will still be hungry all day, every day, because the foods are so small. And most people eat commissary only, and there aren't enough healthy choices on there. There's just not that much of a variety anyway. And most people pay $175 a week, every week, just to eat comfortably and maintain proper hygiene with the commissary.
Yeah, it's not just like food, and like you said, there's not much variety. I was looking at a photo of the items that are for sale. That's on. There's a website called Santa Rita Solidarity that has information, and we'll of course share that later in the program. But you know, it's like chips and stuff that you would find basically at a corner store or a bodega or something like that. But yeah, like you said, not a lot of healthy stuff, but also like the other items are, like you said, hygiene stuff that you all have to buy from them, which is marked up exponentially. Things like soap or deodorant or other stuff.
Right. And the prices are like higher than anything that you would see on the outs at any supermarket, any liquor store. So we're paying these exorbitant prices, but if you look at the brands, they're like, you recognize them anywhere. It's just, they give us the lowest quality stuff for the highest prices. We've been grievancing this. We filed grievances, and the sheriff's department, they say it's not their responsibility. Basically, it's not their. They're trying to cast all the blame on the vendor, and they're also legally liable because they're the ones that contract them. And not only that, for them to try to say that it has nothing to do with them when they receive 40% of the profits from us from every sale. I mean, basically, there should be a criminal investigation because it's illegal what they're doing, illegal business practices, it's price gouging, usury, and it's a monopoly. We're going to buy from this one vendor, and they're taking advantage of the situation that we're in. We're not given enough to feed us, we're not given enough to maintain proper hygiene, or forced to purchase these items.
Well, do you want to tell us, you know, how this became what it is now? How did you go from just, you know, being upset about this to spreading to other prisoners?
Well, to tell you the truth, I've been complaining about this since I arrived in 2015. It's been difficult to get everybody on the same page because really it's a big sacrifice to not eat, you know. It's not easy. When we're in here, it's already stressful enough, and then to not be comfortable, not have enough food to eat, and not buy the extra things that make this time a little more bearable. But recently, I believe it was sometime at the end of December that they had the price increase. And like I said, the prices were already very high. A single top ramen soup was $1.13 to $1.32. Some items, like coffee, I believe was raised a whole nother $1. And it's not even a brand name coffee, it's some brand you wouldn't even hear about. So when they told us to this price increase, that's when people were really upset because we've already been paying so much that we came together, and I believe on the 8th, at least in the building, almost everybody, there was maybe a couple people that still receive their food, I think, because they just really couldn't afford not to. So on the 8th of January, everyone came together and denied their food. And they had to throw all that food away. it's a lot. There's about 200 inmates in one building, and the deputy was upset, but they didn't even document it. So we were on hunger strike for a couple of days, denying our food, and they weren't documenting it. But then they would start trying to retaliate against, because after that incident on the 8th, the very next day, they started saying, okay, well, who wants to come out for their food? If not, you have to stay in your cell, because we're supposed to be allowed 20 minutes for feeding time. And they started denying us that until we started grievancing it. Then they started laying us out like they were supposed to.
What's the significance of them not documenting it? What does that do?
If they don't document it, then no one knows the sacrifice that we're making.
Mm-hmm. Is that so, like, their superiors don't hear about it?
That also, and I mean, their spokesperson is still denying that there's even a hunger strike going on, and now they're documenting.
So it doesn't get out to the media and people hear about it and all that stuff?
Hopefully, I believe there was a segment on KTU News, and now hopefully with you, more people will hear about the struggle we're in.
Well, what happened after the 8th? You said people came together and then they were refusing to document it. What happened after that point?
So a lot of people became discouraged because of that, and it's really a huge sacrifice to not eat. So a lot of people stopped their hunger strike and started eating, but there's still a solid core of us that are still pushing forward with this and still protesting, trying to get the word out about the conditions here. I believe that the price increase happened so they could pay for, there's a lawsuit going on right now against this facility. It's called Abu versus Ahern, and it's about how the deputies were torturing mentally ill patients, and the conditions there were far worse than, I mean, they're just terrible across the board here in this facility, but I guess we're really depriving them of their basic needs and mistreating them, abusing them. So they agreed to a settlement of, I believe it's like $230-something million. So I think the price increase was to cover that, to cover what they're going to have to pay for if it passes.
What else do you want people to know that are listening to this?
I want people to know that this type of situation can happen to anybody. This is not a penitentiary where we're paying a penance for our crimes. This is a holding facility. Mm-hmm. So anyone accused of a crime can find themselves here and be mistreated and abused the way we are. And we're just asking that people reach out to the county officials. I believe the people that are responsible or have an authority over this facility is the board of supervisors. So, reach out, speak to your board of supervisors and let them know that there needs to be a change. They need to stop profiteering from our suffering, and there needs to be serious change in this facility. So they gave us these tablets, which is good, but the prices on that are also so high that, so we're locked down most of the day. At the most, we get 4 hours a day out of our cell. So, but often we're denied that, and so we're locked down about 20 hours a day, sometimes more. Sometimes we're locked down all day for a couple days in a row. And we're in here with nothing to do. There's no type of programs. We can't work. We can't attend classes. They have some classes now that are on the tablet, but it's like in person, and it's not like Zoom or anything. I think you just have to basically call them if you need any help, and they send you these packets. So there's nothing to do to entertain us or pass the time or be productive at all. So they offer us, like, there's some apps on the tablet that you could purchase. So, for instance, there's Pluto TV, but to access that app, it's 5 cents a minute. So if you were to watch a 3-hour movie, that's $9. And this app is free. Most of the apps they have on there are free. The only time you pay for a subscription for these apps is if you want, like, the better quality service. So you would still have to have your family purchase these subscriptions on top of the money you're paying for this. And I believe then they have these other movies that are completely outdated, and they charge you like $8 a day. So and they'll let you buy a monthly subscription. So if you were to put that $8 a day for a month, that's $240 a month. When you could think of, like, say, Netflix, that's like $10, $12 a month, compared to $140 a month. Or for music, it's $5 a day. That's $150 a month. And to get the full access of, they offer iHeartRadio. To get the full access of that, your family still has to buy the subscription on the outs for $10 a month. And think about that. It costs $10 a month for everyone else. For us, it costs $150 a month. So there's just a lot of injustice, and we're trying to get righted.